Hello Manchester United fans, good morning. Monday the 8th of December. Obviously, we have got a massive game tonight against Wolves. I'm going to tell you exactly why Manchester United are going to beat Wolves tonight. It doesn't take much explaining, but I've got an in-depth version of how we're going to beat Wolves tonight, sorry. We're going to talk about the transfer news as well, which is circulating. Again, December is always going to be busy with it. And last night we had a little bit of a strange one drop, and I'm talking Marc Guéhi from Crystal Palace here, and how this transfer seems very, very unlikely, but we keep on getting them links. Now, can we get it done? We're going to discuss this morning, how Manchester United might attract Marc Guéhi, all the details involved in the transfer, and what was said last night. We're going to get through all of that. Bit of an update on Mason Greenwood again this morning, and Manchester United's potential windfall from a mega move for him. Over 100 million is being reported for Mason Greenwood. Now, I'll explain how that benefits United in the show as well. Many of you already know, but I'll go through the detail on that and everything else that's going on, along with your opinions and your feelings and your vibes for tonight, really, and how you're feeling about the game going into Molineux and where Manchester United are actually, well, where we're going to be around about 10 o'clock this evening. We'll talk about it a little bit more in this show a bit later on as well. But let's start with that Marc Guéhi news. Let's start with what is actually going on there, where this story has come from, and how Manchester United could potentially get one of the, if not the best, centre-back in the Premier League. Now, I don't say that just off the cuff and lightly at all. Marc Guéhi is an absolute steal if you can get him. You obviously seen, if you didn't last night, he got the winner in the game against Crystal Palace versus Fulham last night. It's a late winner with a bullet header. This man is just the ultimate defender, and he would fit into any top club in the world. I think it's safe to say that he is going to be the most wanted man this summer transfer window. We have put a poll up tonight because the only way, in my opinion, that Manchester United make this deal happen is by spending a lot of money in January on him and trying to convince Crystal Palace to sell early, because I don't see how Manchester United compete with the other clubs in getting Marc Guéhi this summer. Look, I don't want to seem like I'm a negative look on this at all and completely bin the idea of Manchester United getting Marc Guéhi, but I am fully realistic when I look at this. He was obviously ready to sign and signed for Liverpool, so you'd have thought he would go there. But with the absolute turmoil and carnage that's going on at Liverpool at the moment, you just don't know. They're going back on this, and when you look into the report, it was Mark Delaney of The Independent who broke this last night, and he was just quoted on it. So you have to do some digging to find the story again. And it goes back to previous links with Manchester United for Marc Guéhi, and everybody just going back to that and saying they are still very, very much in the race to sign Marc Guéhi. Skeptical, yes, like we've all got really with Manchester United transfers, particularly when this player was, like I said, already signed for Liverpool. Obviously, Real Madrid are interested, Barcelona are interested. Anyone is interested in, because in the summer he's going to be a free agent, and that will be an absolute steal for someone. And Crystal Palace, I feel, have really dropped the ball here, or have they? Because they're fourth in the league, and Marc Guéhi's helping them compete for a Champions League place. So that value looks very, very, well, it looks pivotal to what Crystal Palace are going to do. And then again, that takes me away from Manchester United going out and spending money in January, because Palace just won't accept anything unless United come in with an absolutely stupid offer. So would you do that? Would you go and pay over the odds, considering this player has got 6 months left on his contract and he's going to be free? Do you delve into them murky waters along with every other big club in the transfer window in the summer and try and get Marc Guéhi? Now, the word from this transfer, and when you look into all of the stories before it over the last few weeks, because there has been a few, they just don't get brought up that much on social media and whatnot. But if you look into Marc Guéhi and research the potential transfer going anywhere, Manchester United are in there. The problem we've got again is it's like his teammate Adam Wharton. It is fully on that Marc Guéhi will only go to a Champions League club. So there lies the problem again for Manchester United. I'm not fully convinced yet. Well, Manchester United are still fighting to try and get into the Champions League this season and getting nowhere near it. I just don't see Marc Guéhi signing for Manchester United. I don't want to take away anything from this transfer and say that it's not the right thing for United to do. Of course, it is the right thing for Manchester United to do. But can we get Marc Guéhi ahead of all of them other clubs? Champions League is the biggest thing here, and Rúben's job is literally hanging on by a thread right now, and that's because Manchester United aren't at the top yet, aren't competing for them Champions League places yet. We're just on the cusp, obviously, and a good result tonight will move Manchester United even closer to it, but it's still not convincing. When the game's coming up, look, when the dust settles over a bad result like West Ham, it automatically, time is a healer. And I have trained myself now to not get too carried away with what is going to happen with Manchester United. I fully expect United to win the game tonight. I really do think that United will win it. And we will be 6th in the league if we win it, 1 point off the Champions League places. So a Marc Guéhi transfer becomes a reality, you could say, with everything that we've just said. With Marc Guéhi being reportedly saying he only wants to go to a top 4/top 5. I say that with the cohesion kicking in. Top 5 places will make the Champions League. He only wants to move to one of them clubs. And United are there. Now we're there, 15 games in. If we beat Wolves tonight, I'm still not convinced. I'm really not. And I look at the games coming up, and it could be a completely different story come the turn of the year. It seems like it's looking at it negatively again, like I said before, but I think it's real. I think that's the real way of looking at it. So you have to have that reality cap on when you look at Manchester United. It's the right transfer, 100%. If United can go and get it done, just go and get this man in. He is the perfect replacement for Harry Maguire if you're going to release Harry Maguire. It's one player out for nothing and a player in for nothing who's probably not going to be on too much more wages than what Manchester United were giving Harry Maguire. The deal for Liverpool is there and is on the table. They are aware of everybody else's interest, including Manchester United's interest. So that's obviously something that United have got to deal with. The difference in this transfer and why this is being spoken about, and there's a chance for Marc Guéhi to go to United, is because of Liverpool's form and the complete capitulation of their season so far. Now, everything can change in the second half of the season. Arne Slot might be sacked. Liverpool might go on to continue playing like they did last season, get back into the top 4, and then Marc Guéhi's safe to move to Liverpool. I don't think he'll go anywhere else. The only hope that we have got is if Liverpool don't make European football, don't make Champions League football. That's the only hope that Manchester United have got, I feel, in making Marc Guéhi a permanent fixture in our squad. I just don't see how we beat Liverpool to Marc Guéhi. I honestly don't. But if United can, then we have to. We have to. And Manchester United's offer, apparently, for Marc Guéhi is a lot better and is bigger than what Liverpool are offering. That's according to reports as well. Of course, you'd expect that to be the case if United really wanted to be serious. You're going to have to do a little bit more here. But what you are buying, if you brought Marc Guéhi in, or what you're getting if you get him on a free even, and put him on a big contract, is no transfer fee, so bigger wages, easier to actually afford. Obviously, squad to ratio real kicking in, no problem for Manchester United whatsoever, because Harry Maguire's wages are off the book. He's on just under 200 grand a week wage. So even if Guéhi breaks that 200 barrier, you're still not looking at that much. Like I said, you've not had to pay money for him, so there's no instalments. So that's easy on the eye as well with the financial fair play rules that are kicking in. And obviously, you're buying a proven player, proven Premier League player, captain, full international, who I think is worth the investment and paying more for. You don't mind spending that much on wages for someone like Marc Guéhi because you have got the finished article. This is the equivalent of buying Declan Rice in midfield. This is what Marc Guéhi is, I feel. He is that good a player. He's absolutely brilliant and is still only in his mid-20s as well. So it is the perfect transfer. It is what Manchester United should be doing. It's what we should be looking at. It's the right type of player for us. I just have my concerns that this is just a bit of a pipe dream and there is no chance that Manchester United are going to be able to get Marc Guéhi. I just cannot bring myself to feel like we can get it done. And I know it doesn't sound positive. I know it's looking at it's on the negative side of things, but I think I just have to be real now. And with United, I like the way we're moving in the transfer market. I like the deals that we've got done already under Ineos, especially last summer, the approach. We spoke last night about Manchester United's so-called no well, the word they used was no D-heads. And obviously, I'm not going to say that word first thing in the morning because I just don't think it's right. But I can't bring myself to swear like that first thing in the morning. But that's the approach United are taking. They're doing the work before, trying to beat their rivals. That's what was being said. Maybe this is proof that that is actually happening, the Marc Guéhi one. I'm trying to find the ways that United would go and get Guéhi. I'm looking at the approach that United have made to other players so far and how we've conducted business in the transfer window. I'm looking at the new structure, Jason Wilcox, at the development side of things at Manchester United, selling the dream, selling the project. Harry Maguire is going to be leaving. Casemiro is going to be leaving. Bruno Fernandes is going to be leaving. You are going to be Manchester United's captain. All of this, I'm trying to think how they would think and how they would approach this. What is appealing for Marc Guéhi to come to Manchester United? Well, he would be the captain of Manchester United. That is a no-brainer. I reckon he would be the captain within 2 seasons. Maybe if United make the Champions League, this deal could happen. So it's hinging on Manchester United's performance again. And it goes straight back to the video that I was talking about this on Friday evening, where I said the 3 biggest concerns for me are the deterioration of the academy because we can't get them in the side. We're not going to be able to compete for big players in the transfer market. I used Elliot Anderson as an example for that because obviously if City are in the Champions League, that is nailed on now. Obviously, they're in a better position than us. United need to get up that table. We need to be up there. So it's for me now down to Ineos to make a decision and not allow this stop-start season to continue this way. If that means that Rúben Amorim is sacked because he doesn't beat Wolves, so be it. If that means that Manchester United have to spend money in January, a big amount of money in January to get Marc Guéhi ahead of a free transfer in the summer because it's beating your rivals to it, you've got to do it. You might have to pay more wages to bring him into Manchester United. You have to do more. You have to act on what you've created. And if you are going to stick with Rúben Amorim, you've got to accept that your targets are going to be very difficult to get unless Rúben changes and you make him change. And by that, I said in that video again, if someone like Jason Wilcox says to Rúben Amorim, look, you're going to have to change this or you're going to get sacked. You're going to have to change the system. You're going to have to do something. You have to make it work for the rest of the players in the team and get more out of this squad. Accept that you tried your way and you're going to maybe tweak it a bit to make it fit better and work better for them as well. We have to be in Europe. Otherwise, forget it. And are we prepared to give him the rest of the season and not be in Europe again next season? I don't think Manchester United's hierarchy are. And I think they will make a call on it. It's massive. This is what we're dealing with now. This is how big it is. The transfers for Manchester United, if you got into, just look at this as, before we get into the comments, to wrap this up here on Guéhi, and it's not just Guéhi. If you get into Europe, it could be the difference from bringing in a Baleba and Anderson, two midfielders, a Marc Guéhi centre-back, and maybe even on top of that, another striker and a wing-back. You could buy 5 top-class players with financial fair play, squad-to-ratio rule, Manchester United's wage bill, and finishing in the Champions League places, which is top 5. If you get that, you could go out and get 5 elite players and transform the future of this football club going forward. So make the call what you have to make sure that you get into the Champions League. And that's what I think Ineos are going to be judged on now. Everyone talks to me about my sort of love for Ineos and the fanboy of Ineos. Look, I'm just saying it as it is. And I said I would give them time to get in and really show what they can do and where Manchester United can be taken. We're nowhere near it yet, obviously. But I think we're coming to a point here where a certain decision has to be made for this season. United cannot be out of Europe. Are they fully convinced that Rúben Amorim can do it and turn it around? Can he get United into the top 5? If you look off the first 15 games of the season, they will say yes. And that's why we did the video last night on Trust the Process and what Jason Wilcox said to journalists outside of Crystal Palace. If you didn't watch that video, that is up from the last one last night from yesterday, everybody. It was Jason Wilcox and what he said to journalists outside of Crystal Palace, where he stopped for and it was an interview or a few words with journalists that wasn't organised. So sort of off the cuff comments from Wilcox. Very interesting in how we put it across as well. And I did a video on that last night, so go check that out if you haven't seen that already. But I think it just said there, the reality is this season could be absolutely massive for the future of Manchester United, because there are players that are available for the big money, yes, but are available this summer that will transform Manchester United. Absolutely transform. And we've talked about these players not being good enough. Everyone that Manchester United could be possibly linked to in the summer, if we get European football, Champions League football, it is a completely different kettle of fish altogether. And this team will look, it will be night and day. It'll be Jekyll and Hyde compared to what we've got right now and the mentality we've got in certain members of this squad. It's so important this season now. I'll get into the comments now in just a moment. Just going to get through all of the other bits and bobs and news that is floating around, just in case, because there is usually some. There is usually some in the morning, actually. Monday morning, you get a few people coming in after 8 o'clock with some interesting stories. We have got a little bit of an update on Agate again from what we touched on last night, but looks like we're pretty safe for now. Well, let's get into the chat and let's see what everybody's saying on this. Marc Guéhi, we have got a poll running as well. Get involved in that. Would you spend money on Marc Guéhi this January just to get him in ahead of everybody else in the summer? We'll look at that in a moment. Good morning, FUTV Army. It says, Jim, I hope you're doing well, Jim. Thank you for renewing that membership. 2 years a member at FUTV. That is absolutely amazing. Thank you, mate. Love this community so much. Jim, you're a legend, buddy. If we lose badly tonight, tune in tomorrow morning to see if if your no swear rule gets tested to the limit. Thanks, Glenn. Yes, probably will tonight. Oh God, if that happens, then tonight, yeah, you might want to hide behind the couch. To be honest, if it does go wrong tonight, I think I will be joined by many Manchester United fans that are blowing the swear box up, because it will be an absolute disgrace if Manchester United don't win the game tonight. I'm sorry. I called it out the other day, and it is still the same for me, Glenn. So yeah, it's going to be battered if it goes wrong tonight. I agree with your sentiment, Adam. And if it was March, I'd be telling you we are no chance of Europe. But it's only December. I expect us to be 5th after tomorrow, but it's only December. United 3-0. We can't be 5th, mate. Actually, we can only be 6th. We can get into the top 5 if we beat Wolves 9-0. And now I'm the very, very biggest and most optimistic Manchester United fan out there, as you all know. But 9-0, 9-0 for Man United, yeah, that's not happening. 3-0, I would take that. That is a good score, Manny. I would definitely say that is the sort of scoreline most Man United fans should be expecting tonight. And there'll be a lot of fans, even if we win tonight, that won't be convinced at all unless we win convincingly. It is the way. It really is. The poll is up and running on the Guéhi situation. Well over 500 votes already. Keep getting involved in that, please, everyone. Thank you if you have voted already. Should United spend money trying to get Guéhi in January? Now, I'm not saying that is going to make it happen, but would you push the boat out? I'm not. This is going to sound crazy, but if United knew that they were up against it in the summer, would you go out and give Crystal Palace, say, 50 million now to make it happen so they could go and replace Marc Guéhi? Because that's the only way you're going to do it. People would say, why would you pay 50 million when he's going on a free? It sounds stupid. It is. It's fully stupid. But if you really had an intent of really pushing forward and wanting to get these right types of characters and players in, that's the sort of length that you might have to go to. How big are Manchester United? Are they willing to push that far? I don't think they are. And I think that is massively unrealistic. But I would say that is the sort of figure that you're going to have to throw at Crystal Palace to even get them to the table, because he is that good. So, again, that won't happen. I'm pretty certain of it. But there are a lot of people asking the question, how serious are Ineos at Manchester United? Back your manager in January. That's realistic backing, because you shouldn't be paying that much. But you want him in for your manager. You want him in to your team now. You want him ahead of everyone else who's going to get him ahead of us in the summer. I still don't think they'd go for 50 million, but still, I've just thrown the figure out there because it sounds ludicrous on its own. Guéhi, I would get him. I think we need centre-backs. All of ours are way, way too slow. We need some pace at the back. We need good headers of the ball as well. I'm sorry, like, past Maguire, we are struggling in the box and defending crosses. Marc Guéhi is that. Do you know what? It's not even that. Marc Guéhi is the ultimate centre-back. I said it at the top of the show. If you can get a hold of him, then you're looking at game-changing. That's a game-changing player right there. It's elite level and one of the best centre-backs in the world right now. So that, again, is just, it's ridiculous that United should even think about going out spending on a free transfer. But sometimes, look, I'm just playing the other side of it here with this one. It's not going to happen, I know, but you have to look at it and think how United can get this deal done. And these are the only ways. Get in the Champions League or spend big in January. What's more realistic for Man United is the question. Let's see what else we've got in the comments here. Get some of these useless players out of this club, and Ineos back the manager in January and the summer. It depends who wants to buy the players, mate, as well, Alan. That's the problem that we've got. Good morning, everyone. I'm really worried about our team. We don't take advantage of the lower ranked teams. You could say that again, mate. You really could. If United have a chance to buy a genuinely world-class footballer, you should take it. It doesn't affect United buying anyone else in any position. This is the Semenyo scenario again, isn't it? You would say that in January, or this summer, in fact, it wasn't the top priority. Midfield still is the top priority for Manchester United. Semenyo, Guéhi, and then midfielders. My God, you're talking levels. Levels then, really. It's scary for Manchester United. There is actually a genuine quality, Premier League proven, young players available in this next two transfer windows. And it's going to be scary as to where they go and what teams are developed from them. Like the Guéhis, the Adam Whartons, the Balabers, the Elliot Andersons, the Antoine Semenyos of this world. That there is a team on its own of absolute world beaters. Someone is going to strengthen big time come the summer or even possibly the January transfer window. And I think United have to be in the mix. There's so much there that United cannot miss out on. And it's up to Ineos to really, if they're going to go off what we said last night and be ahead of their rivals and get business done and be in the mix, they're going to have to go some. They really are. We'll keep the comments coming in on Guéhi and Manchester United. We're going to move on to the game as well a little bit later on. Obviously, we'll have a build-up to the game and we'll do a little bit more in-depth analysis on what should happen. We'll do my team and my predicted team later on today as well. Also, in the news, we're hearing, well, there is a supposed, we've talked about this before, and I'm only bringing this in because this helps Manchester United massively. It's nothing to do with us right now, and it's not going to affect us anytime soon, but Mason Greenwood leaving Marseille is definitely something that is on the cards for this summer. And Manchester United's 50% sell-on fee for Greenwood is going to definitely benefit Manchester United this window. And there is even talks of a €100 million bid going in for Mason Greenwood from Saudi Pro League. I think it's Neon, the latest team to come into the Saudi Pro League. They were linked with Andre Onana earlier on this summer as well. But Mason Greenwood going to the Saudi League, I think he would probably prefer going somewhere else, to be honest. But that's the sort of mark. He's in and around the £80 to £90 million mark at the moment in terms of valuation and someone taking him. He is going to go because he's a quality player and someone will take Mason Greenwood, no problem. And Manchester United's fee on top of that will be quite substantial because you're talking about a 50% sell-on over anything over 27.5 million, which we sold him for. So if you bring in 80 million into that, then what are you looking at there? You're looking at 40 plus million. Manchester United are going to get between 20 and 30 million for Mason Greenwood. Pure profit for homegrown talent as well. Taking our valuation and what we've sold Mason Greenwood for to 50 plus million, that's about the same investment that's going to go into Manchester United's academy and the new setup at Carrington as well. So job done in terms of scouts and academy level with Mason Greenwood and the value that they've brought back from him. But That money, plus whatever we get for Marcus Rashford, and obviously Rasmus Højlund, Andre Onana will go, and Manuel Ugarte, Joshua Zirkzee, all this adding up with the wages that obviously has been released from that as well. You'd expect Manchester United to be in the market for players like Marc Guéhi, Elliot Anderson, Carlos Baleba, Adam Wharton, Semenyo, and all of this. The room is there financially for Manchester United to spend big going into the summer. Again, great. But you've got 2/3 of a season to go, which will determine what players want to come in the first place. And then you've got all of that money that you then have to spend on lesser quality. No disrespect to anyone else that comes in, apart from the names that I've just mentioned, but you know what I mean. You know where I'm going with that. This is definitely something that I think Manchester United are aware of. And I think going into the window, we can have all the plans, but they know that if Manchester United don't make the Champions League, things are going to be different. Very, very different. So I do think it is all on this season. It really is. And looking at that Wolves game tonight, again, it's massive for Rúben Amorim, Manchester United. Manuel Ugarte on that one as well. Galatasaray are looking likely to be all over the potential signing of Manuel Ugarte this summer, everybody. That is something that is genuine as well. Bouadi from Lille is another Manchester United midfield target. That's the sort of player that's going to come into Manchester United if we don't make Champions League football. So bringing that into the equation there, it's like going from Elliot Anderson to Bouadi from Lille, an 18-year-old who plays in Ligue 1, who's going to cost between 30 and 50 million. That's the difference. And I'm not saying Bouadi cannot be a world beater. A lot of people would say Manchester United should be finding these younger players and bringing them in to the football club, like Brighton's, Brentford's, Bournemouth's, like they all do. It's still not the same quality. And United need ready-made players more than anything going into this summer transfer window in that midfield. So it's the real look on things, I think, here. And what we're dealing with is United's season determining how much of that money that we are going to have to spend can be spent on certain players. More comments. Get them in, everybody. Please. Manny's in with another super chat. Thank you, Manny. If we want value and Prem proven this Jan, what about Neves from Saudi? Strictly short-term performance-based contract. What are your thoughts? I just don't like the fact that Neves did want to Saudi. I don't know. Like, I'm not taking anything away from him as a player. Like, I liked him at Wolves. I thought he was an absolute beast at Wolves. I thought he was a brilliant player and one of the best passers and free kick takers that had a nasty streak that was in the league. I do. I think Neves is an option for United, but they're not going to buy someone who's around about 28, 29, I think now, for money. They just won't do it, Ineos. They want to buy the right players. And I think what we are seeing here is that United are not going to buy anybody. There's no quick fixes. I actually think that Neves would be seen as a quick fix. Even though he's better than what we've got, I think they would see him as a quick fix. Going off what's been said and what's been reported, I just don't see that being an option for United. Sorry, it is an option, but I just don't see it as something that they're going to go and do. The word from Chris Wheeler last night as well from the Mail was that Manchester United are going to go back in January for potential deals that they could have done in the summer, which obviously then would lead us to the Conor Gallagher or Rúben Neves. I think most people would go with the Conor Gallagher route because he's younger, probably the same price as what Neves is going to cost from Al Hilal, and I think is probably a better fit in a way. Look, Neves would still work at Manchester United, I know, in a way, but would you play Neves over Casemiro? Would you play Neves over Bruno? The same with Gallagher as well, by the way. I'm not taking that out of this conversation. Like, does Gallagher start ahead of Bruno Fernandes? Because realistically, Manuel Ugarte probably isn't going to get sold until the summer. You've got Casemiro there. Bringing somebody in January has to be someone who is going to really, really improve United and get minutes. And whereas I am definitely open to the idea of a Conor Gallagher type player alongside two more midfielders, the importance of what I said before and this season being important for Manchester United, I think still takes over and takes precedent there, because it has to be a player that's going to improve United now. Now, you could say that Gallagher could play alongside Bruno. I don't know if that works. It's 2 8s, essentially, and you've got no natural 6. Ruben Neves would play as a 6. So again, it's what they want to do. It's how they balance it out. I just don't think the player's there that they want in January. Gallagher's a purchase simply because he could be one for the future. But Gallagher would help Manchester United out this season, yes, but would he impact massively from what we're doing right now? I don't think he's that type of player or signing. I don't think he's got that impact that we need. Like an instant improvement on the starting 11. Is he much better than Casemiro? No. Is he much better than Bruno? No. And I don't think he walks into the team. I think he's a great squad player, and I would like him in my squad. And if it's a transfer that you can make that's really going to be one you would be looking to make in the summer, then it makes sense. But yet again, the summer transfer is determined of where Man United finish this season. You need players that are going to make a difference. I just don't know if the player is out there. I don't. I understand we need a little bit more depth. I do get that. And we can bring players in that really, if, for instance, Conor Gallagher comes in if Kobe Mainoo goes. I get that. I get that. And that might develop yet anyway. But that's where United apparently are at in terms of their transfers going into January. It's definitely heating up now with the talks and what could potentially come in over the January transfer window. And I am 50-50 still on what might happen. I think that's where we're at. I think we're looking at potentially one player coming in realistically. But everyone is being very, very careful what they're saying in the journalist world. And I think we have to be aware of that as well. We finished the poll on Marc Guéhi. Well over 700 votes on the poll. Thank you. Would you spend money to get Marc Guéhi in January? 77% of you said yes, you would spend money to get Marc Guéhi in January. That's a big, big number. That's a very big number. I'm probably with most of you in there as well. It has to be a target or nobody really, as Greg says there. It's a massive waste of money if we can get to our targets without buying, but I don't think it's a good idea to take that risk. It's a fair point. It's a fair point. Joe says, Munoz, Traore, would you swap them for Dorgu and Ahmad? I wouldn't swap Ahmad for anyone. But again, I don't think swap deals are likely anyway. I think what you're saying now is, can you offer anyone to Crystal Palace to make this deal happen as well? Maybe. I don't know. Adam, the obvious is right there in your face. The midfield doesn't improve unless Bruno either leaves or is moved to 10. We need 2 midfielders, proper ones. I don't think I've even said anything against that, mate, to be honest. I really don't think that has been the case. I'm looking at it and I always thought we needed 3 midfielders. We do. You cannot turn down Marc Guéhi if you can get him. I'm sorry, that is just a quality player. That there is something that we will be buying in the summer probably. And look, United are not going to go out and buy him in January. I'm definitely not going to buy him in January. I feel like United would wait it out and hope that we got Champions League football. That's what I think anyway. I really do think that that's the case. In terms of the... Don't forget, by the way, everybody, the Prediction League is up and running right now. The link is in the live chat. It's in the description also. Don't forget, it is really easy to play. The competition basically is these 7 predictions, which could actually happen and come about in the game tonight against Wolves. Do you think that any of these are going to actually happen? That is it right there. Looking at it, you've got, will there be under 2.5 goals? Will Bruno score or get an assist? Just say yes or no to any of these. Build up your amounts and then the total will come up at the bottom with the amount that you want to put in as well, everybody. We'll be playing this game alongside the watch along tonight on Forever United TV here on YouTube. It is going to be running simultaneously alongside this game on Big Up as well. So get in there, get your predictions in, hit that link in the live chat and join the fun later on. You can play for free and obviously you can put a little bit on if you want as well. So let's have a look at Let's have a look at that game tonight, shall we then? And let's get our opinions on it. It's the morning before the game, everybody. How are you feeling? I said at the start of the show, I'll tell you exactly why Manchester United are going to win this game. And it is through nothing regarding players, strategy, tactics, formation. Manchester United will win tonight because we can't get into the Champions League if we win. You get where I'm going with that as well, don't you? That's how I feel right now. Because the carrots, the Champions League carrot hasn't been dangled, and United have that opportunity, which we crap the bed with every single time. So, for instance, getting into the top 5, top 4, whatever it may be with a win. We've blown it 4 times already this season, as we've spoken about plenty of times. We can only get to 6 tonight if we beat Wolves. So United will win because it's 6 and we're outside the top 5. That's my explanation as to why Manchester United will win tonight. Quite straightforward, but I just know it. I know this team. I know this team. We'll drag a result out of this tonight. We'll beat Wolves and United will be 6. And we'll be talking about the potential of Manchester United being in the Champions League again. Not in any way where we're thinking this is definitely happening, but it has to be talked about because you're 15 games in and United are right there and in amongst it with everybody else. Level on points with bleeding Chelsea, for God's sake. So talk will be there, but again, I think looking at the fixtures after Wolves, we are all sort of worrying and we're all, well, we're bricking it a bit, aren't we, with what is to come. Then again, look, just to throw a positive in there on the Wolves game, beat Wolves, finish 6, and then you're up against teams that are going to come and attack you. No low blocks. No low blocks. That's what you've got to look at. And I think that might open up an opportunity for United. But then again, we lose Ahmad and we lose Mbeumo. And I'm like, oh, God, yeah, okay. Maybe it is wishful thinking. But yeah, I don't see us getting maximums out of Bournemouth, Villa and Newcastle. Even though Bournemouth are awful at the moment, their form is the worst, one of the worst in the league right now over the last 6 games. They have absolutely fallen away. So it's a strange one with them. Maybe we could just right them wrongs from the previous couple of seasons where Bournemouth have walked all over us. They are an excellent side. They are an absolutely brilliant football side on their day. And I must admit, watching Bournemouth the last 2 seasons at Old Trafford, they have been incredibly impressive, and they're the ones that are worrying me. We get through Wolves, okay, fair enough, that's expected. And then you're looking at the potential of them 3 games and what United can bring from them. I don't think there is any Manchester United fan that is confident at all in terms of getting points out of them games. I really don't. And what you got to look at, I think, is all of that, like Newcastle and Villa in and around us. That this is the point where you would say, right, okay, beat the teams that are in and around you, beat the teams that are competing for the same trophy or the same positions in the league. Sorry, and that's when you'll be judged. If United beat Wolves and then get, for instance, 6 points out of Bournemouth, Newcastle, and Aston Villa, I think a lot of people would be saying, that's actually quite good. That would still keep you in and amongst it and in the Champions League fight. And then you're looking at 18 games gone. And then you're heading into Wolves at home on the last day of the year. You should be, you should be beating them. All of a sudden, you're halfway through the season and you are actually in the top 5. I know. It sounds good, doesn't it? But I'm not getting carried away with that. I just wanted to put it out there because I don't want anyone saying I've just ignored what could potentially be. I'm being very, very realistic. I don't think that's going to happen. I think by the turn of the year, United will be, I'm going to say this now, by New Year's Day, after we played Wolves at home, United will be 7th in the league. That's my prediction. And as long as we're only a handful of points, between 3 and 5 points off the Champions League, you know that that is going to keep Rúben in a job. The only way that Rúben loses his job is if we completely fall off. And falling off would be a defeat or a draw tonight against Wolves. Get rid if he cannot beat Wolves. There's no excuse. There really is no excuse. And that, I think, will be the final nail in the coffin. I really do. United cannot afford to drop points to Wolverhampton Wanderers, the worst team in Premier League history. That would be the ultimate embarrassment, and everybody would be laughing at United then. And then you can talk about trusting the process and backing your man and actually being optimistic. You can throw that all in the bin if you lose, if you drop points tonight against Wolves. It's just not on. It is not on. And don't forget, the watch along is up later. I just put a poll up there. Who is at the game with us tonight? Who is watching it? Get voting on that poll as well, everyone. Make sure that you do join us around about 7 o'clock tonight for the watch along. We've got our usual content throughout the day building up to the game as well, everyone. So make sure that you do hit that subscribe button and bell notification button as well, so you are fully up to date. Let's get some comments on this and the game tonight. Talk to me, everybody. How are you feeling right now? You've just woken up. You're heading into this massive game tonight against Wolves where United has to win. Rúben has to win. How do you think it's going to go down? They have the most injuries. Don't believe the bottle narrative. You should know that. Manny. Oh, someone else talking to someone else there. Sorry. That's exactly why they needed to get max points from these games. They've bottled, but hence the problem. All our senior players are serial losers. Yeah, I think a lot of people have had that opinion as well. Do you know, we all say we're better this season. We are only 3 points better off than last season at the same points. We're not better at all. We are the same. We're lucky the league this year is all over. Honestly, if you are feeling positive and you are trying to get yourself up, you would ignore United Spotlight's comments from Carl, because Carl just looks at it half empty all of the time. He won't mind me saying that either, and I'm not having a go at him saying that. But if you were optimistic, Carl would bring you straight back down to earth. He's done it all season, and that's just the real look that he's got about him. Unfortunately, if you came for a bit of positivity, Carl will shoot you back down instantly. He can't help it. He's seen enough, and that's fair enough. Let's see what else we've got in here. Only a few points between... or is that the bottom, Deborah, there? That was supposed to say 5 teams. The gap, looking at the table, I'll tell you what the gap is right now. Crystal Palace, let's just say Crystal Palace, they're in 4th place. 15 games played, 4th place outright for them. You can go down to Bournemouth, who are the worst form team in the league right now, one of. They're in 13th. And there's 6 points between top 4 and 13th in the league. All you have to do is win 3 games in a row. And the amount of teams that are taking points off each other, it's like yesterday. This week, Brighton were cruising, absolutely cruising in the Premier League. In the top 4, in the top 5, constantly turned it around, Hurtzler. And then bang, bang, loses to Villa and then draws against West Ham, which is absolutely crazy. So our draw against West Ham don't look that bad now, because Brighton are decent at home. I'm only joking. Don't want to wind anyone up. But Manchester United can move up to 6 and take over from Everton, who are in top 6 at the moment. Level on points with Chelsea, but obviously our goal difference is a million miles away from Chelsea. And I think then it's all going to be down to that Bournemouth at a home game next Monday. Again, Monday night footballs, God. And they're organised weekends and everything, and it's just all over the place. Let's get some more chats in. Get your comments in on the game, everybody. Give me your thoughts. A couple of super chats have just dropped in. First of all, from Glenn. Thank you, mates. It should go without saying, but I will be relieved when we win 2 games in a row again, so we don't go on another of those runs. Yeah, we had the chance to do that against West Ham at home, mate, and we blew that as well, Glenn. Still cannot get over that West Ham game. It's so... devastating that it just we went up and then bang, straight back down. The low block tells me the players don't trust themselves. If our wing backs play higher and trust our centre backs, we win easily tomorrow. Tomorrow or tonight, Manny? Tonight, you mean, I think, buddy. It'll be interesting how this system works against Bournemouth at weekend with what they've got and how they can play under Viola as well. I think we should be quite confident going into the game against Bournemouth next week. Look, deal with Wolves first. I think United should be beating everyone at Old Trafford, personally, but we'll deal with Wolves first tonight. Let's get a few more comments in. Easy to play against United. Just keep a low block and boom, United can't penetrate. Bloody useless, says Saf on that one. Tomorrow my time, says Manny. Got you, buddy. No problem. I just don't want you all getting very excited and getting let down every week. Carl's trying to look after us all. He's trying to keep us in check and not get the disappointments. No, I think being disappointed, getting yourself up and then being brought down is all part of being a football fan, to be honest. And Manchester United do it better than anybody. I am fully at ease with where we're at right now as a team. I know where we're at. I know as a fan how I'm going to approach this game tonight. I expect United to win. If we lose or if we draw, then Rúben gets sacked. It's no excuse. There's no excuse. I can't say it any other way because it just proves that the players cannot get up for him. If you can't get up for a game against look, it's the same for every team. This will prove to me that these players just are not going to get it. And that's what I mean, not going to get Rúben's system. That's how I'm trying to explain it. But it's just disappointing, I think, more than anything. If United let us down again, I've lost all hope with him. 4 months in with 1 game a week, have we seen any improvement? What happens at Carrington training front this visionary manager? I mean, yeah, fair point from Don in there. It is now more than enough time to start judging. We're not ready to play in Europe. Manchester United need more time on the training ground. All of this will be brought up and all of this will be definitely talked about. United need to be in Europe next season. United, after tonight, need to have beaten Wolves and be in that top 6. There's nothing else that you can say. There's no other way you can look at it. And there's nothing else that's going to be acceptable. United have to win the game tonight. In order for us to progress better, I'm afraid Amorim needs to go. Can we really see us finishing 5th with him in place with his ways? Or can we get there with a manager that plays a different way? The problem is, on that one, Mr. Dacio Sandero, is who comes in? What manager comes in if you get rid of him? I know that's not for us to decide and they have to deal with that and get that decision right. But still, there is a concern there that there isn't anyone available, isn't it? That's the issue. It's interim manager and hope for a new manager bounce. Make sure that you don't give that interim manager the job permanently at the end of the season and commit to the manager that you really want in. Who's out there? A lot of United fans would say United need to go out and get their #1 manager target anyway if they did sack Rúben Amorim, but we'll see. After tonight, we're going to know where we stand and we're going to know exactly what is going down with Manchester United. And I will be there with you all again, worried, concerned and hopeful. There's loads of different words you can describe tonight's game with, can't you? And how we're going into it as a fan base. But look, let's see what happens. And I wonder how this conversation is going to be tomorrow morning, this time tomorrow anyway. I can't even say. I don't know. And my prediction for the game, by the way, just so you know, I'm going to be doing it later on again anyway, but I think I went 3-1 to Man United tonight. I think that's what I'm going for. I think that's a realistic look. So, yeah. 3-1 United. I just wouldn't accept anything else. I wouldn't. We want Oli as interim until the end of the season. Portuguese excuses. Book has 1 million pages. Jim says Wolves will turn up tonight, but to be honest, do they need to beat us? And depends which United team warms up, or sorry, turns up. That from Jim. Greg says that we've got a game to take us to 6 tonight. Why on earth would you go from that? Let's take a random chance on a random manager over 5th spot. That's nuts. So Greg's backing Rúben there. The thing is, Greg, it's not, we can go 5th, we can go 6th tonight. If we lose, we're pretty much down 12th, 13th where we was last season. And then everyone can say, he's not done anything else. He's not changed anything else. And then you start looking at it and going, right, okay, we're going to have to do and make a decision here. The season hasn't gone anywhere near where we wanted it to, and we need to make a call. There's an opportunity here. There's a real opportunity, and I can't believe Manchester United haven't taken advantage of it yet with the amount of games that we've got It's absolutely disgraceful that we're not actually up there competing with how much rest time and recovery time we've got compared to everyone else in the mix. It's embarrassing. Win tonight puts us at level par with where we should be, in my opinion. And we'll go on from there. We'll take it from that game tonight. That is your show this morning, everybody. Thank you so much. Do hit that link in the top of the chat, please, everybody, regarding the predictions competition tonight. Make sure that you're there for that game as well later on. The watch-along will start approximately about 7 o'clock, but I'll give you more information on that later because we will be back with another video probably after lunch today, looking ahead to the game tonight and obviously my predicted 11, what I would do. I just look at that and think, do you know what? There's a chance for Rúben Amorim tonight, and there's a chance for him to actually do something a little bit different, I think. I don't think he's going to do it, though. I really don't. Also, don't forget, OK Jerseys for all of your replica and up-to-date kits, training kits, replica kits on the retros and everything like that for every club in Europe. The link is in the live chat right there now. OK Jerseys, everybody, get on that while you can and get your presents in for Christmas before the mad Christmas rush, people. Time is running out. Get in there now and get your orders in, everybody. Top quality gear as well. I've had plenty of it here. I'll show you some more later on in the warm-up show and then obviously in the watch-along as well. Thank you, everybody. That is our show this morning. Have a great Monday. I'll see you all just after lunchtime, and please do get your comments in on all of them topics below. Hit that like button and also hit the subscribe button. Cheers for the super chats, mods. Great job again. Thank you, everybody. And I will see you later.